So I did the WSU business plan competition 2 years in a row, landed sixth as a solo operator the first year around, and then I got second place with a team the second year round, grabbing like $10,000 in funding. So here's a couple tips and tricks for the executive summary, things that I have learned. Number one, this is the one that I did 2 years ago. So the first glaring issue that I see is that this is not a sans serif font. So when you zoom in on it, you've got these little lines right here, this stuff that is kind of hard to see at a distance. This right here, this is no, this is a serif font, and this is a sans serif font. So it's like it's simple, it's easy on the eyes. The next year, I did a sans serif font, so we don't have those little details and bits and bobs on the text and font. Fantastic, that's better. Something else that I noticed is wrong with the very first year is just the spacing. Everything looks kind of jumbled up and gappy, and it's like the amount of space between this versus the amount of space between these two things is inconsistent. That looks unprofessional. It looks like you don't know what you're doing. It's a classic no bueno situation. Um, let's see here. What else is wrong? I'm kind of just doing this on the fly. Mm, okay. Um, this kind of just screams cocky, not really the move. It's like this was very much me tooting my own horn, thinking I was the shit. Not really the vibe that you want to give off if you're trying to get people to invest in something you're building. You want to show what you have done, not what you think you are. Um, so here is a slightly better version of the executive summary. I would definitely do a lot of style changes, but I think the core information here is pretty solid. So this progress timeline is a new addition. I don't think I had a progress timeline on the last one. I had actions taken, but if you look at this, it doesn't really visually flow. It doesn't tell you what's going on. You're like, what is this? You can't understand it in 2 seconds. But this progress timeline, this is more simple, right? It's like, okay, these are the things that have happened. Oh, this line, this is where we currently are right now, and this is where we're going from here. Interesting. Okay. Then we've got the team, we've got the advisors. It's a much more dense document. I really like that. I feel like that's a good thing. The more dense information you can have in there, the better. If anything, I would add more numbers to this document. Something else that I see here is more consistency. So the space between here and here, while it's not perfect, it's a lot closer, right? And then we've got, the bolding here, the text here, we've got the bolding here, the text here. All of these tend to be roughly the same size. It's just the thing that I'm most proud of this version, which took quite a while to spin up, is the visual consistency of it, right? There's a lot that isn't fantastic. For example, why the heck is this text so big? I think it's probably a bigger font than this text right here. That's a classic no bueno situation. We know likey. Um, but you can't deny that it is way, way better than whatever the heck this is. So when you're making an executive summary, you're going to want to cover a certain set of things. You're going to want to cover what is the idea? Who are your customers? How are you going to reach them? How are you going to get money for the business? Like, what is your monetization strategy? How big is the market? How much money do you need? Blah, 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 stuff like that. I guess what I'm really narrowing in on here is the difference that 1 year can make. If you go join a business plan competition in 1 year, you're going to realize that no matter how cocky you are, how cool you think you are, whatever people have told you, whatever you've done in the past, you probably are not the shit. You're probably not as good as you think. And next year, you're going to come back way stronger, way better because you're going to get your butt handed to you. And then you might get your butt handed to you again and realize, oh, I'm still not the shit. There's still more to work on. So that's just my experience. This is just an example of a person sticking at something and making it slightly better. And this is just 1 page document, but I can tell you that this thing took hours and hours and hours. This took probably at least a dozen hours of research and work and reworks. I've probably went through like 30 versions of this thing. So that's good. If you want to make something that's really good versus something that kind of is great, that's, the difference is going to be the amount of times that you revise it. So yeah, that's just a hodgepodge of thoughts on executive summaries. Peace.